let's cover the review for exam 2. This is for unit analysis, unit conversions, and geometry. You should not be completing this review on the video if you have not completed your homework as well as the review before watching the video. Okay, so given the right triangle below, you're going to find the length of leg X of the right triangle, and then you're going to find the perimeter and the area. Alright, so to find the length of a leg, you're going to use a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, your Pythagorean theorem. We'll call x a, b for 11, and c always has to be 18. So a squared plus 11 squared is equal to 18 squared. Alright, you're going to go 11 squared, which is 121. Is equal to 18 squared, and that is 324. Okay, now we're going to subtract 121 from both sides. A squared is equal to 324 minus 121, and that is 203. Now we take the square root of both sides, and a is equal to the square root of 203 is 14.2. On the exam, I'm asking you to round everything to one decimal place, the tenths place, unless it is money. So we're just going to stick with that on this as well, 14.2. So A is 14.2 centimeters. Please make sure you are presenting it with units on your answer. B is finding the perimeter, so B is 18 plus 11 plus 14.2. Just add all these up. And that is 43.2. And you can just write P is equal to 43.2, again, centimeters. Lastly is the area. Area for triangle is base times height divided by 2. The base is 11. The height is 14.2. You'll never use your hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always directly across from the right angle. You'll never use that for area. So base times height divided by 2, it's going to be 11 times 14.2 divided by 2 is 78.1. So the area is 78.1 centimeters, and area is always squared. If you don't remember this, put that on your note card. Area is always square units. Okay, given the circle with radius 17 centimeters, you're going to find the diameter, the circumference, and the area. So if we have a radius of 17, to find the diameter, that's just 2 times the radius, so 2 times 17. So the diameter is 34 centimeters. To find the circumference is either 2 pi r or pi times d. I'm going to use 2 pi r because they're giving us the radius. 2 times pi times 17. And use your pi symbol, do not use 3.14. 2 times pi times 17 is 106.8 centimeters. And last is the area for a circle is pi times the radius squared. The radius is 17 squared times pi is 907.9. And this is centimeters squared because it is area. Next one, it says, given a circle with a diameter of 17 centimeters, find the radius, circumference, and area. Now we're going to find the radius is the diameter divided by 2. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. And this is centimeters. Please put a box around your answers so that I know that you know what you're talking about. B is the circumference, and they're giving us the diameter, so I'm going to use pi times d. So pi times 17, and that's 53.4 centimeters. And last is the area. And the area for a circle is pi r squared, so pi times the radius squared. 8.5 squared times pi is 226.98. I want to write that down, 226.98, but I ask you to round to one decimal place. So I want you to round to the tenths place. This is my rounding digit. My test digit is the 8, which means we need to add 1 to our rounding digit. So this makes it 227 centimeters squared. It's not 227.10. That doesn't make sense. Find the perimeter and area of the figure below. You're also going to have to find the two sides. Find the two missing sides, the perimeter and the area. And I asked you that on the exam. So we need to find this side and this side. Remember, if it's a vertical side that's missing, we can only use vertical lines to find it. So for this side, if it went all the way down to the bottom, it would be 9, but it doesn't. It's missing this part here, which is 3. So this one's 6 meters. To find this side, you can only use horizontal, so it would be 10, but it doesn't go all the way across. It's missing the 5, so it is 5 centimeters. All right, so the missing sides, because this is one of your questions, are going to be 6 meters and, centimeters. No, it's meters. And 5 meters. The perimeter is going to be add up all the sides, so 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 10 plus 9. So that is 38. And again, meters. And last is the area. So I'm going to break this into area 1 and area 2. Area 1 is 5 times 9, because it's length times width. It's a rectangle. Meters squared. Area 2 is 3 times 5. And last, to find the entire area, you have to add those two up. 60 meters squared. Okay. Remember to give yourself some supports that you want on your note card. Just create like a thing that you want to have on your note card, so you can go back and ask and make sure it's on there. Or if you have questions for me, make sure it's presented so that you can ask me questions. Sarah is flying her kite and it gets stuck in a tree. She knows the string on her kite is 17 feet long, so that's this right here. And she is 6 feet from the tree, so this is 6 foot because this is the tree. How long of a ladder in feet will she need to get her kite out of the tree? And everything's feet, so we're good to go on that. Yeah, go lay down. So I need a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Because the string is directly across from the right angle, that is my c. So the rest do not matter. I'm just going to call this side a. A squared plus 6 squared is equal to 17 squared. 6 squared is 36. 17 squared is 289. Subtract 36 from both sides. 289 minus 36 is 253. To solve for a, we have to take the square root, which is the opposite of a square root of both sides. So the square root of 253 is 15.9. And this is feet. That works. If you answered with 16 feet, I would have accepted that too, because ladders don't come in 0.9 feet. So if you understood that, that makes sense to me. Callie is sending her nephew a soccer ball for his birthday. She packs the ball in the cubic box that is the same side length as the diameter of the ball. She needs to determine how much space needs to be filled with packing material. Do not use 3.14. You must use the pi button on the calculator and then round to the nearest tenth. Find the volume of the box. So A, volume of the box is side cubed. And the side of the box is, I decided this in class today, 45 centimeters. And 45 cubed is 91,125. The unit is centimeters cubed. This is for the box. B, the volume of the ball, is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. 4 pi. The radius is half of the diameter, and the diameter is 45. So the radius is 45 divided by 2. 22.5 cubed, and all that divided by 3. So cube that times pi times 4 divided by 3 is 47712.9, and this is centimeters cubed. And last, we need to find the space in between the ball and the box. So we subtract the 2. The empty space is going to be 91125 minus 47712.9. And that's 43412.1 centimeters cubed. That's room for the packing. Room for packing. Make sure, again, area squared, volume is cubed. So if you don't remember that, or you're stressed that you're going to forget it, please make sure and put it on your note card. The next one is given the figure below, you must use the pi button on your calculator to find the perimeter and area. Okay, well, you've got 2 semicircles here, and together they create a whole circle. And then we've got just these 2 sides of the box. So this side's 4 inches, and this side's 4 inches, and we need to find the circumference of a full circle since these 2 equal 1. So for perimeter, that's 4 plus 4 plus the circumference of the box is going to be pi times d, because we know the diameter is 4. So pi times 4. 4 times pi is 12.566. I'm going to go ahead and add the plus 4 plus 4. So my perimeter is 20.6. And the unit is inches. For area, I'm going to break these into 2. I'm going to have the area of the circle and then the area of the square. So area of the circle is pi times the radius squared. The diameter is 4, and the radius is half the diameter, so that's 2. And then the area of the square is side squared, so 4 squared, or length times width. So that's 16 inches squared, and this is 2 squared, which is 4, times pi, is 12.6 inches squared. And then we just add these 2 here. 12.6 plus 16 is 28.6. And it's inches squared. Next is the candles. We need to determine how many cubic centimeters of wax she needs. Use the pi button, round to the nearest tenth. The radius of each candle is 2 centimeters, and the height of each candle is 13. So the radius is 2 centimeters, and the height is 13 centimeters. Okay, so how much wax is needed for one candle? And that's just volume, is pi r squared h, because a candle is basically a cylinder. And so you need to know that. So the volume of the candle is pi r squared h. Pi, the radius is 2 squared, and the height is 13. Pi times 2 squared times 13 equals, and that is 163.4. Now, I need a sentence for this. How much wax is needed for one candle? This is centimeters cubed. So 163.4 centimeters cubed of wax is needed for each candle. B is how much wax is needed for 40 candles. So 40 times this. So 163.4 times 40 is 6536. So 6,536 centimeters cubed of wax is needed for 40 candles. Recipe of blueberry muffins states that it yields 12 muffins with 265 calories per muffin. All right, I want to stop right there. So recipe equals 12 muffins. 1 muffin is equal to 265 calories. You decide instead to make mini muffins, and the recipe yields 20 mini muffins. So 1 recipe equals 20 mini muffins. I'm going to use mm. If you eat 5 mini muffins, how many calories will you consume? Well, 5 mini muffins, and I'm going to create conversions. We're going to go from mini muffins to recipe, because that's all we can do. Then we're going to go from recipe to muffins, and then we're going to go from muffins to calories. So we're going to go 20 mini muffins for the recipe. The recipe also makes 12 muffins, and 1 muffin is 265 calories. Conversions, gone, gone, left with calories, which is what we want. Multiply straight across. 5 times 12 times 265 is 15,900 over 20. This is calories. So divided by 20 is 795 calories. So 5 mini muffins are 795 calories. All right. A bicycle is traveling at 22 miles per hour. Okay. How many feet will it cover in 35 seconds? Well, 22 miles per hour is a conversion. 22 miles is equal to 1 hour. We want to know how many feet it will cover in 35 seconds. Well, I don't want seconds, so let's go to minutes. I don't want minutes, so I can go to hours, and then I can go from hours to miles, and then from miles to feet. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and then 5,000, nope, what is this, 22 miles per hour, right there, and then 5,280 feet in a mile. Multiplying straight across, 35 times 22 times 5,280 is 4065600, and this is feet, and then 3,600 in the denominator, so divide that by 3,600 is a 1,129.3, but they want us to round, oh, tenth of the foot, 1,129.3 feet will be covered in 35 seconds. All right. Oh, I already did this one in class for a student. Give me just a minute so I can go over it with you. All right, number 11. Dominique checks his pulse for 4 minutes and counts 468 beats. What is his heart rate in beats per minute? Represent as a rate in beats per minute. So for A rate is, and we're doing beats, so 468 beats per minute, so that's 4 minutes. For B, that's the answer for rate. For the unit rate is just dividing. 468 divided by 4 is 117 beats per minute. Okay? Make sure you set yourself up to make sure you have that one for your exam. Your car can drive 410 miles on a tank of 32 gallons. That's a conversion. 410 miles is 32 gallons. How far can it drive on 45 gallons? All right, so we start with 45 gallons. We want to get rid of gallons and go to miles. Now plug in the numbers. 410 32. Multiply straight across, gallons are gone. 45 times 410 equals, and then divide by 32. Stop it. Is 576.6. Oh, round to the nearest mile, so 577. So the car can drive what is this, 577 miles on 45 gallons. For B, that's A, stop it, a pain in the butt. How many gallons are needed to drive 1,230 miles? So 1,230 miles, and we find out how many gallons we need. Miles in the denominator, gallons up top, and it's 410 for miles, 32 for gallons. Multiplying straight across, miles are gone. Go lay down. We're being pain in the tuchus. 1,230 times 32, and then divide by 410 is 96. 96 gallons are needed to drive 1,230 miles. Last, how much will it cost to drive 1,230 miles if gas costs $3.59 a gallon? Well, we know there's 96 gallons needed, and then it's $3.59 per gallon. Multiplying straight across, gallons are gone. 96 times $3.59 is 344.64. This is money. You always want to go to the hundredths place. So is what it will cost to go 1,230 miles. In September 2016, the cost of gas in Berlin was 1.25 euros per liter. What would the equivalent cost be in US dollars per gallon? So we want to go from, well, I can tell you, okay, 1.25 euros for 1 liter. And we need to multiply to get rid of the euros and go to dollars. And then we need to get rid of the liters and go to gallons. Give me just a moment to find out what the conversions are, because I don't remember, and I didn't write this down. Give me just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to use $1 is equal to 0.86 euros. I just looked for the current. And 1 gallon is 3.785 liters. So $1 is 0.86 euros, and 3.785 liters is 1 gallon. Multiplying straight across, my euros are gone, my liters are gone. I'm left with dollars per gallon, which is what I want. So 1.25 times 3.785, and then divide that by 0.86 is 5.50. $5.50, right? Is that what it rounds to? Yep. Per gallon is the equivalent cost. All right, temperatures. So we need to go from Fahrenheit, we need to find Celsius, and then go from Celsius and find Fahrenheit. Let me look these up real quick because I never remember these. Fahrenheit to Celsius. All right. So Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we want to find Celsius, and that is taking the Fahrenheit, subtracting 32, and dividing by 1.8. So to find my Celsius, it's 88 minus 32 over 1.8. Be careful with putting this in your calculator. You need to go 88 minus 32 equals, and then divide by 1.8, and that's 31.11. degrees Celsius. Yes, I said round to the 1 decimal place. There we go. And then for Fahrenheit, that's equal to 1.8 times degrees Celsius plus 32. Degrees Fahrenheit is 1.8 times 88 plus 32. We can put this all in our calculator. 1.8 times 88 plus 32 is 190.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Apollo Spa services 260 hot tubs. If each hot tub needs 115 milliliters of muriatic acid, how many liters of acid are needed for all the hot tubs? So one hot tub equals 115 milliliters. And we have 260 hot tubs. Well, we're going to have to do a couple conversion because we want liters and we have milliliters. So we also need that 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. So hot tub to milliliter and then milliliter to liter. There are 1,000 milliliters in a liter, and one hot tub requires 115 milliliters. Multiplying straight across, hot tub's gone, milliliters gone, left with liters. 260 times 115 equals, and then divide that by 1,000, is 29.9. 29.9 liters of muriatic acid is needed for 260 hot tubs. Convert the measurement to miles per hour and round to the nearest hundredth. So we have 91 feet per second. And we want to go to miles per hour. So we can go from feet to miles. There's 5,280 feet in a mile. Then we can go from second to minute, and then minute to hour. There's 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Multiply straight across, feet are gone, seconds are gone, minutes are gone. I'm left with miles per hour, which is what I wanted. 91 times 3,600 and divide that by 5280 is 62, and that's going to give us 0.0. So this 91 feet per second is equivalent to 62, and this is miles per hour. Oh, it said round to the nearest hundredth. So 0.05. There you go. Last two. Use your, 6 cups is equivalent to how many milliliters? So you're not going to have one like this on the exam. And then a rectangular field is 15 yards. You're not going to have one like this either. You're welcome. That just made your life a little bit easier as far as studying. Good luck. Let me know what questions you have.